Okay, here's my backstory about water and more. It started with water. I worked at a health food store back in 1974. I learned about the importance of water. I've been drinking good water since. I've had very poor seasons of my life, but I always had bottled water. I did that long before the celebrities did. I'll get distilled water. Currently, I have water called Rain Fresh water in the Dallas area. Great water. Not cheap, but it's really, really good water. A great concern for people who don't have access to water. So I felt very uplifted when I saw videos of the solutions, whether that was digging a well, or filtration, or cisterns, or or rain collection. And if I felt bored or tired or depressed or discouraged, I'd go around and I'd do that. And so let me show you one example. There's many of them online. I bookmarked hundreds of them literally. And so, so this is called a treadle pump. Now, treadle pump is very, very cool because it requires no electricity. It can be done in a very simple manner. And
sun-baked earth, Uttar Pradesh, northern India. Here, the limits of one monsoon allow farmers just one annual crop. The only option for the rest of the year was going to the city in search of work or finding a way to pay for expensive, polluting diesel pumps for irrigation, as there's always water near the surface. The farmer's salvation is water, and here it lies 7 meters below the surface. And thanks to an innovation from International Development Enterprises India, even the poorest farmers can now reach it by walking.
I saw people irrigating through the hand pump, and because it's very difficult to operate in hand, they were using the leg muscles to operate a hand pump, and that is the idea I got.
The treadle pump is designed to be operated with the leg muscles, and crucially, the technology was kept simple and cheap to maintain. Mohammed Shabir bought a pump 6 years ago and now grows 3 crops a year instead of 1. And with the proceeds, he's building a new house. The village of Mirzapur, where the water table is high enough for treadle pumps to reach and irrigate the fertile Terai plains. The first step is to dig a borehole. Then a plastic tube with porous sides is inserted to keep the well open. The pump is attached to the top.
I save money because I used to hire the diesel pump for 80 rupees per hour. Now I can irrigate whenever I like because I can operate this myself. Now I'm independent.
During the dry months, land irrigated by a farmer who walks on water really stands out.
There you see a green patch of land where the farmer who has a treadle pump is taking one more crop, whereas the field all around it are all lying fallow.
International Development Enterprises India.
okay, well, I could go on and on with that video. There's many, many more like that. So I invite you to look up treadle pump on YouTube. And the quick tour here. So I was looking for water. I really like that. I really am attached to water. And along the way, I learned about the importance of stoves because and there's a thing called a rocket stove, and there's solar cooking online. And so the people in these countries have to, and this is all over the world, often what they have to do is to walk a very long distance to get wood and to get water. They bring it back. And this is called a rocket stove. This is a 16 brick rocket stove. There's several of the models out there. And this just shows how to use these adobe bricks to create a very energy efficient stove. And that thrills me. And Rotary is all involved in it, and that's just wonderful. And so that's a rocket stove that uses a lot less, like I said, a lot less wood, and it makes a lot less smoke. Well, the smoke is very deadly. The smoke messes up the lungs of the woman, the mother that's in there, and their kids. It gets in their eyes. It's just horrible. So not just water. Now I'm looking at stoves, and So there's a rocket stove. They make rocket stoves also out of cans, or all kinds of ways to make rocket stoves. Rocket stove is just a generic name for very efficient.
This is a step-by-step video on how to make a rocket stove out of a one number.
So a lot of individuals have different kinds of videos online about how to make these. A lot of individuals, like I said, some organizations do that, and that's just fine. But what I don't find, well, I guess I can jump ahead a little bit here. This is a solar cooking, and boy, I mean, solar cooking just, oh my gosh, really warms my heart. And it won't work in all parts of the world all the time, but some parts, particularly the hottest parts, obviously, the desert parts, they are carrying the wood long distance, destroying the environment, and that's a hot sun burning down on them. And if the smoke, there's a smoke inside their little facilities. Some of them just recommended showing how to create chimneys. Energy efficient stoves have chimneys to take the smoke out. Smoke is not evil; it's just doesn't need to go into people's lungs. So it says solar cookers. They're teaching about solar cooking. Some are just as simple as having cardboard covered with aluminum. So they're made of metal. There's all kinds of designs, all kinds of possibilities, all kinds of companies doing that. And so that's just amazing to me. And some of them are even used like in refugee camps. Totally changing the world. So I could go on. I'll leave these links in the video. You can look at them later if you wish. So here I am kind of going, and bookmarking these. I've got hundreds of bookmarks. Just did that. Then I came across this one. Now this one really changed my life because I was chasing a link probably for water. I came to this site, and this is a holistic approach. Said, well, here's water, and there's solar. These guys say, well, tell you what, let's look holistic. Let's change the whole village. Instead of just an individual, let's change the whole village. And how they do that is they look at the water, and they look at food, and they look at wellness, which is a lot of sanitation issues and hygiene, disease prevention, and income and education. Again, education going on with food and income. And what they do is they match up a whole village that will work with them on these 5 areas with a group of people like a community group or church group back in the U.S., a 2-year period of time, and they facilitate changes, and they use Skype and blogs with digital cameras to update the people, let them know what's going on. So totally change a whole community within a couple of years, hitting on these 5 areas. I think it was just completely amazing and wonderful. I thought about that before I added 2 more. One of them is leadership. I forget the 7th one. Somewhere in my notes, I thought that's really, really, really good. It'd be leadership and communication or relationship. So how do you communicate? How do you communicate? Whether that's verbal, nonverbal, your whole conflict management, anger management, all the relational stuff and leadership. So I think so I would include those 7 as being key to transforming the whole village. Again, I'm showing you these things. This is about my journey, how I came to these things. And I'm totally will promote and encourage these because they're wonderful. I want people to go there. I'm sharing the links. I'm not hiding the links. I want people to go there. I want people to pray. I want people to send money. I want people to volunteer. I want people to be encouraged. I want people to know there's hope in this world. Because I have an inclination toward depression. I mean, I purposefully avoid the news, especially politics. That's a bunch of silly people doing silly things, promising, lying, cheating, stealing. I avoid them. Now, I came across this video today looking around for Treadle mill. This totally amazes me. And I can tell you the whole thing. This engineering student at Michigan, he and the group went there, and they built this treadle pump. They work, again, cooperation. They started with a design by somebody gone before.
This could allow farmers to grow during the dry season and the rainy season, which could potentially double their yield for the year. It's got two kind of stair stepper like boards or pieces of steel called treadles, and they're attached to two pistons, and there's a rocker arm system, so as you depress one treadle, it forces the other treadle up. The water comes in the back through this pipe and splits between the two different cylinders, and the water comes up through this valve, and then on the downstroke it gets pushed out through this valve, and then the two streams of water come back together. This is kind of a chance to apply what I have in class to the real world. There's a lot more experimentation and real world issues that I had to deal with when I was working on this pump than I had anticipated. When we started from a design that had been produced by an ME 450 senior design team, and one of the problems with their design was they had trouble getting a good seal in the pistons. So we looked at a couple of other designs, and we found a design that used leather as a to cover the piston, and we tried that, and it works really well because the leather expands when it's wet to the shape of the piston, and it forms a really good seal. And also it's available in most of the places we would want to use the pump, and more sustainable than rubber.
Okay, I want to continue with that all the way through to that comment, more sustainable than rubber, available, because that's the thought. You're helping people in remote locations. Leather they can find, but a rubber seal that fits exactly like that, they can't go to the hardware store. You need to think that way. As an engineering student doing practical stuff, man, that delights me to no end. Because that's what I want to do in Aggie Land. I want to go to Texas A&M and help them to do that. And then for us to network with other colleges who are already doing these things, and how can we do this? And what we're going to do is we're going to create educational materials that can be shared in different languages, shared all over the world. So we're teaching each other. We're learning how to teach others about these things and sharing them at no cost. Just we're educating to raise their standard of living, because we get treadle pumps and these other kind of devices. So it's just way wonderful.